Oh, all good.
Yep, here we go. Welcome back. Hello, everyone. This is Dissonant Waves, Minisode 33. My name is Dominic. This is take two. Ritz and Trix are here.
Hello.
Indeed.
Last episode of the year. We have one album to talk about. That is Black Country New Roads live at Bush Hall. And then we have a bunch of year-end wrap-up stuff to do. And Ritz, you were saying just something just now about paying
Hell
taxes and
yeah.
doing BCNR. So you can expound upon that, please.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of wrap up to do this year. Uh, it's been quite a heavy year. I think we've done quite. This is, I think, did we even do a specific 2023 week this year?
Oh,
We might have done it like very early if we did,
At the
but we just
beginning, maybe.
yeah, but we just kept picking 2023 stuff, so we just have a lot to cover,
I think we are
and
conditioned now
it's a
that we
big
don't
reason
need
why you wanted to
to.
pick this because yeah. Oh, that's why you picked this because you're like, hey, there's one last thing that's in this year that you really wanted to be considered, and I guess let's just wrap it up, and then we'll get into the wrap ups. I reckon that's the best thing we can do.
All right, let's talk about BCNR, Friends Forever. Yeah, live at Bush Hall.
Yeah,
It
live for
is.
sure. You picked it. You
Yep.
you
All right.
you
Sure. Sure.
intro-
Sure.
you introduce it. I'm usually the one who picks Black Country, but
It is the album that is post Isaac Woods leaving the band. That is kind of the log line here. In this case, it's a live album. It is a show of a performance that they put on a few times last December. They each episode had like a theme, or performance had like a theme of like pizzerias and prom nights and all that stuff. And they performed all new songs. They kind of trade off on the singing now. They are trying to do their best to continue forward without also kind of cannibalizing what made Isaac Woods so special. And yeah,
it's this is my take about the album because you specifically picked it because you wanted us to be in our consideration for top albums of the year.
yes,
And I made sure specifically before I did my albums countdown that I gave this a listen because that's what you wanted, and that was a very fair request of you. So I
yes.
gave it a listen specifically, and it made no impact to my list whatsoever to any of it. I think it's a fine live album. It's interesting. The interest part of it is the fact that none of it has been like it has been released on any of the previous BCNR albums. That's what the interesting part is. It's the new direction that they're going in.
Yep.
But listening to it as an album, and actually even taking away the live aspect of it, because it is still quite a great performance. I find myself really into the first half of this, but then it just gets struggling to get through the last half just every time. It is the first Black Country New Road album, which I feel like it felt like a bit of a slog to get through. And don't get me wrong, I'm seeing this band next year. I'm still excited to see them, but just listening to this in the context of listening to an album, that's how I kind of felt with it.
That's interesting. I actually
Yeah.
feel the opposite in that I feel the beginning part is probably the more labored part for me. I think The Boy and I Won't Always Love You are good songs, but they're probably among my least favorite here. I find myself gravitating more towards Laughing Song, Across the Pond Friend, Wrong Trousers. Turbines and Pigs is a longer song too, but I do find I like that. It's quite pretty.
Look, I got nothing wrong with the next half. It's still good songs in their own right. I would prefer to hear them potentially in better contexts or in a non-live setting where maybe we get to see the production shine a lot more in them. I think it's still quite a great live show, but I feel like the first couple songs are where you at least get to have those little moments of Black Country that I really like shining through. And then it just I don't know. It's really hard to explain, but it's why I'd never really picked this album. It's because I don't really have much to explain why I can't get into it. I just kind of struggle to get into it. Is the thing.
I mean, that's
It's not even
fair.
this fucking like oh I miss Isaac kind of way because I think the new vocalist is fantastic.
I mean, there's three of them right now. There's Tyler Hyde, there's May
Yeah,
Kershaw, and there's Luke Hyde or Luke Evans. And I think they all
I
have
should
different
say new
qualities.
vocalists then, but yes,
Yeah, they all.
yeah.
I think they have their qualities. I think Tyler, takes the lead on most of the songs, and I think she does phenomenally. That she has a little bit of what
hmm
makes Isaac special, and kind of the way the words are drawn out, the way there's like a little bit of a poshness to it, more or less. And then, Luke is a little flatter, but he has more of that Sinatra style crooning voice, which I also think is really interesting. And then May's kind of a wild card. Though I don't know.
And the big thing to mention as well with is just with some of the vocals and some of the members on this is obviously one of the members as well, who isn't, it's surprisingly not one of the main vocals though.
No, for Jockstrap,
He's known
I'm
for doing
assuming
the vocals on Jockstrap.
Yeah, Georgia Ellery
Yeah.
just does violin and backing vocals.
Yeah, so it's like they have a band full of just really like talented vocalists. And it's a large scale band as well, so that's kind of just funny to have.
So I said Luke Evans, I meant Lewis Evans. My apologies, but I think it's interesting if their new album, their new material, whatever shape that takes, kind of follows up on this, and that there's kind of a freedom to having any combination of members do different things and having different vocalists, different instruments being played. I think that opens up a lot of avenues that they could take. It's kind of exciting in a way.
Yeah.
So many bands are limited to just the one vocalist, or maybe to the two vocalists, and everyone kind of has their role. But I feel like this is a band that, even without what part of what made them so popular and so interesting, with that gone, there's still a lot of things that they can fall back on. Like the songwriting is still there.
It's always a misconception. It's always a misconception that it's always the singer, which is what ties a band together. But that is not always the case, and Black Country is making sure that's not the case. And I'm still very excited for what the future studio albums has from this, and I think that's what makes, I guess this is something to bring up in that case of like we're going, okay, well this is the next step. But I'm more just waiting for that, like for it to finally be complete. And again, that's why I didn't pick this. We had so much more albums that were complete, or those complete next steps that were worth talking about this year. And I guess I'm just harping on about it, but it is kind of the main reason it was brought up. Is that it's just in the context of everything else we've done this year, and even with recency bias of listening to this again at this point, trying to impact everything, it's still just, there was so much other stuff that was just put out this year that is more complete, that is more, in a new direction, or I guess we call that, or just different sounding enough. That was just more worth the time to cover this year, I felt. And that's kind of why this was left in there. It's still something we probably should have covered, because we obviously covered Black Country in both years. But
we both love Answer Up There. You really love For the First Time, and I think For the First Time is a great album too, but you'd like it more than I do.
Yeah, I think I'm still in the belief that For the First Time is a better album than Answer Up There, but Answer Up There obviously has like one of the best songs of all time now, with the place where he inserted the blade. I mean, all time might be a stretch, but it's definitely going to be one of the best songs of the decade.
In some ways, I think this album, for what it is maybe a little bit lesser than some of the stuff on, like, For the First Time even. But I think this is still pretty high quality. I think overall their track record so far is still really, really good.
I would agree with that.
Even if it's just like the B grade, middle, like kind of transitional phase, like there's no guarantee these songs will wind up on anything anyway, like another album or anything. So at the very least, it's nice to kind of have that documentation of like, hey, this is stuff they were working on as they were trying to kind of grieve and move forward. Not that Isaac died or anything, but it's clear from the songs that him leaving was a big deal.
Trix, you got anything you can mention? I know this is probably a bit of a big week even for the one album to listen to. So
I didn't get a chance to do like I only listened to it earlier in the week, and because I fell asleep before the episode, I didn't get a chance to do like my before podcast re-listen. So
last minute study cram up in there.
Yeah. So I don't remember much about the album.
I did that as well. I mean, I gave it a listen early in the week. I gave it a couple like songs attempts, obviously over the year. Like we were going to try, but then I did a last minute cram as well to go like, okay, so anything I have forgotten, but just I don't know. Every time I've listened to it, I've had just the same opinion.
I do want to see the live video that's on YouTube. I haven't had a chance to yet, but I do want to see how that looks. But I mean, here we're at least trying to, like, I could have said, hey, let's watch this, but we're still trying to like talk about it as an album, as the next step from Answer Up There. So it was whatever. But I mean, it's worth talking about how Answer Up There was one of our favorite albums from last year, and for the first time also ranked very highly. So it would have been a shame.
I had, respectively, we're doing wrap-ups here. Respectively, I had, for the first time, as my favorite album of 2021. This is obviously considering I Became Birds as an EP, and I controversially still kind of do that, so they can all fight me later. And then I had Anthem up there as my second favorite. I think, Dominic, you had it just as your favorite, beating Black Midi, didn't you?
I want to double check.
It was, I think that's what the top two were. I could be completely
wrong. I switched it in the end. Because originally Hellfire was going to be my favorite, and then it's like, no, it's Black Country.
Yeah. And I mean, when it comes to like listening to Answer Up There as well, and why it was so high regarded, I mean, the lyricism and the topics in the songs aside, it has some absolutely just beautiful climatic moments on that album.
And it's worth talking about too. Where did For the First Time rank? For the First Time was like number 4.
Probably would have been high for you still. Yeah.
Yeah, because we had 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. For number 4. And then number 1 last year. So this was important. I felt like this was something we would be dropping the ball if we did not do this.
Yeah.
That's fair, even if the take is how it is. I think without further ado, we should do our final favorites and least favorites for the year.
Yeah.
Let's start it off by Trix. You get to use your favorite word.
Blender.
Okay, I'm not going to use that word, though. I'm going to say my favorite Up song in The Boy. I think you singing BCNR Forever earlier it's one of the cutest and catchiest moments on this record. And The Boy, I think, is one of those also moments where the little moments in production shine, and I think it has that kind of just sound and vibe that I really groove in, despite it being that live production going in. Least favorite is honestly going to be something like Wrong Trousers or Day.
Interesting. I like Up Song. I really like Laughing Song. And I also really like the Across the Pond Friend and Wrong Trousers bits, but I think Laughing Song is probably my favorite. My least favorite's The Boy. I think The Boy probably is the one that will be the best live, and I think seeing the live performance in the video would probably help it. But I don't know, there was something that was missing from it from me. I think it was a little too, I don't know if muddy is the right word, or just something about it that felt off and different. But overall, still a really solid album.
I don't think it's a perfect song. I think it's a work. I think it's definitely a work in progress song. The more like when you hear it, but I feel like just what they have in that is kind of works, and that's why it's one of my
favorites. They're all classified as work in progress songs. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think the direction differences is really interesting. Just the having a reprise, having different song material. Now that there's different writers, it's still an album worth checking out. But yes, anyway.
So we are now in the greatest part of the year, and what everybody loves about December is the absolute rush to get album of the year list and EP of the year list and song of the year list out before the year is even finished, and we are no exception.
Yes.
For those who are out here, basically all my lists will have been public by now. Yeah. Most of ours will probably have been public by now. So I guess it's not really worth us just repeating it. We'll probably try and go into a bit of detail about why we love certain things. I won't go into my songs of the year list because this is currently being recorded as of right now, 23 hours before I am streaming my top one. Yes. But I do promise to go a little bit into each of the top 25 on my Instagram there, which I'm using for the first time ever. I used it, originally signed up for it to buy a cassette. Don't think that cassette's ever going to end up, but I got to use it for something, right? So we're using it for the top 100 this year. one thing I've told Trix and Dominic is that they'll be able to ask for 5 to 10 promos to record. I'm not telling them directly what artists have made it. They got their own guesses. They'll probably recognize some things, but this is what I haven't told Trix and Dominic, and they get this live on air. You both will compete to guess for 10 songs, and to make it even better, I'm going to have to make it 10 unique songs between each of you.
Okay.
To guess that makes it 100, but I will help out. Each of you are allowed to ask throughout the duration of this episode for 2 clues that haven't been given. If the clue is very fucking obvious what it will be, I will ask you to do a new clue. And then I'm going to just pit you against each other for no other reason than I think it would be funny.
So we're trying to guess
I'm
your
barely
10.
awake, so this will be funny.
We're trying to guess your 10
Not
favorite
the top
songs.
10, you just have to
10 of the 100.
not the top 10 of the 100, yes, and it doesn't matter how high they are. I won't be ranking it as, oh, you got closer to number 1, because it becomes very obvious in like the higher stages or certain artists that will make the countdown. So, going for what we get higher and stuff like that just feels like a going first advantage, if you get what I mean there. So
Yeah.
if you both get 10 out of 10, it's not like one of you got higher. It is just you both got 10 out of 10, and you can both absolutely brag about it. You will both learn in approximately 30 hours anyway.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you know how long the
So you
stream
get to
is going to
ask
be? I'm curious.
The
Is it
stream is and this technically counts as a clue, but I'm not going to consider it as one. The stream in total is going to go for around 6.5 hours,
I feel like that's shorter than
maybe a
before.
little more.
Yeah.
It is, in a sense, yeah. I think it actually is. I think the total time of the 100 is a little shorter than last year.
Okay.
But I've actually noticed that, and this is why I love doing this as well. Outside of just bragging about my favorites and stuff like that, is actually looking at all my 100s and counting. And there was a lot of clues that I've actually already given you over this Discord. And if you do ask that clue, I will just say it and it won't count because I'm not fucking going to be that harsh or competitive about this. But I've noticed a couple things happen. Like I've noticed, like say, debut artists I've never had before, or unique artists. Usually, it's actually the unique artist actually stays around the same over the past couple of years. It hasn't been the exact same amount of number, but like last year, I think it was like 89 unique artists, and this year it's 87. And then a bit ago it was like 84, and then one that was 80. It's slowly kind of risen a bit, but it's kind of stabilized. 69 unique artists, which is
Nice.
actually not that bad, but it felt very underwhelming to what I could have.
Sure. It also means that artists you like made good stuff.
Another trend that I've noticed. Yeah. Another trend that I've noticed as well, and this isn't just on me, but I think it's just how music is going, is that my top 100s have gotten like slightly smaller. And I think that's because you're starting to see a trend of artists releasing shorter songs. It's obviously not always the case. Like last year, I had the Dripping Tap, which was an 18-minute song.
Yeah.
So it's not a case, but you see a lot of artists are, and especially if you look into big songs. I mean, Takei Meisner put out a single this year that was 2 minutes and 8 seconds, and I think somehow the music video was shorter. Tyler, the Creator, has definitely made his music videos shorter for a lot of these singles that he puts out. I think it's a gender. You could blame it on TikTok, but I think it's just social media in general. It's done it over the past couple of years, where you start to get a lot of these shorter songs as well. I mean, it helps when, I guess, if you want to do blame TikTok, it does help when you have all these memes basically being 30 seconds of a song. And I mean, there's that really popular, I think it was a Vine back in the day, even, of the "How You Doing? I'm Just Fine. I Lied. I'm Dying Inside," which I saw they made that into a full song. But it's like, actually, isn't the joke just 10 seconds?
Yeah.
So you notice these trends and stuff, and I haven't listened to the full song. It could be fine, But it's what I noticed about all this, and it wouldn't just be my list. I think it would be if you look at a lot of lists, like if you even look at the hottest 100, I feel like you'll start to see that slowly gets shorter and shorter and shorter.
Yeah, I compare my top 25 lists to the top 30 list last year. And, 5 extra songs, what we're looking at. Well, about 18 minutes difference. 18 minutes difference. So not terribly different.
I mean, the average length of a song is... Well, the average length of a song is like 3 to 4 minutes. So it's like...
Yeah.
It's potentially, kind of shorter. But it does it so gradually that you kind of only start to notice it after many a year.
Even then, we had
Still,
some of
that
our
being said,
longest
I'm going to be
songs
adding
this
promos
year.
and stuff to make it longer.
And
yes, that is true. That we've had many a long song this year.
Longest album.
I didn't even cover fucking as Sprains the Lamb as Effigy, which that has I think that has like 8 songs. Sorry, and 2 of them go for 24 minutes.
Yeah.
The Temps album didn't have a single song under 4 minutes.
I mean, and then of course there's One Wayne G, which had songs all over the fucking place.
And I had a lot of shorter ones, but that was still that one you kind of don't recognize all the time. I mean, that had a couple very long songs, I believe, in it as well. There was some more ambient ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
King Giz still comes through with longer songs.
Yep.
But
so it's not like the long song is dead, but you do notice there is still. Just
all right.
Yes.
I don't know. Shall we try to ask a couple questions here?
You got the whole recording to do it. You can ask it at any time you want.
Do we have to give you a full list of 10, or can we give it to you over time?
Give it to us. Give it to me over time. Just let me know that you're giving it, so I can write it down. That's all. Not asking for it right now. Not asking for it all at once. Just asking for it basically at one at a time, at least, so both of you don't shout it out at the same time. And that's all I ask.
Are we guessing songs or artists?
I will. I'm guessing songs, but if tiebreaker comes into play and need be, then we can go into artists. So I mean, if it's like obviously if it's 10 out of 10, there's no tiebreaker there. But if it's like 5 and 5, if someone's gotten like 5 artists and compared to 4, that they got the artist right but not the song. In a case of an artist getting multiple, and there's a next free clue for you, but that should always be obvious anyway. If an artist gets multiple and you've guessed, if you've guessed a song by them that didn't make it in, you don't get like 3 points. You get like 1 point or something like that. Figure it out.
All right.
We don't have to start the guessing or the clues or anything now. I'm probably not even going to be that strict on the whole 2. I'll probably be, if that's a good clue to give out, I'll probably just give it away for free. So,
I do have one question.
Go ahead.
If you were to pick King Gizzard this year, would you think those songs would be a longer song, or if any, or would they be shorter songs?
To compare it to the King Gizzard that we've covered, or in just King Gizzard in general?
Would the songs adhere to a more like traditional 4 to 5 minute length, or would they be extended or cuts?
I personally believe King Gizzard are a band that really highlights themselves when they don't conform to traditional structures.
Yeah.
All right.
Shall we start?
Sure.
By going into our favorite EPs of the year.
Sure.
So I'm happy to start off with my list here because I've actually already released this.
Okay.
So none of this is an absolute surprise. And I think I had like 15 songs. Oh, no, 15 songs, fucking 15 EPs. You got to be talking too much about myself. That I was mostly considering for the year list, but in the end, it kind of just came down to a mixture of what do I really just personally kind of come back to? What do I enjoy? And what do I think was impressive? And we'll just start this off. There was a bit of a consideration about the Mac Kroll single. I personally consider it as a single, not an EP, just because the Bandcamp page says it's a single. That is my reasoning. However, I don't believe you can also just go and deny it being an EP for anyone else. So if anyone else wants to consider Mac Kroll to be an EP, go ahead. I'm considering it a single and not eligible for the EPs list.
That does not mean you're
If
not
it
considering
was
the
eligible,
songs.
I would. No, I am definitely considering the songs. If it was eligible, it would be placed at number 6, and this EP, number 10, would have been knocked out. Now that has all been considered, number 10, Tiny Little Houses, Every Day I Wake, I find another reason not to. I personally picked this one because I am just a sad white boy at heart. I think Tiny Little Houses, I know obviously it was a bit of a, the title on that was basically just re-recording and remastering a very good song, but it actually sounds really nice in this newer production and being a lot more clearer. I think even if it wasn't their most expansive work to date, I found a lot of enjoyment just going back to the songs. I know it is just, again, sad white boy music, but I think they do it better than a lot of other artists do, which at least I can go and say, like, okay, well, at least I feel these lines. And that's how I kind of just felt with that. Plus, the outro to Poison Darts is still a banger. So I forgot to mention one of the other clues. Both of you have 200 to 126 on my list. So you have 75 songs that haven't made it, but that doesn't mean that the artist hasn't made it.
Yeah,
of course.
Number 9. Various artists. Not the first time they appear on this list. KK Fever Dream. I missed out on buying the mini CD here, but this was the split between Salem's Coriolis, Summer 2000, Godfuck, and We Will Look Back at You and Love You Forever. This one was just an absolute clusterfuck in a great way. Definitely bringing in that called KK Fever Dream or that Animal Crossing influence in to the songs, despite it being basically just claustrophobia pop for the whole time. It's one of those ones where I don't think I could specifically go like, here's a song that I really like and I'm going to continuously listen to the year for like any of them, but I just felt as an experience listening to it in full, it was definitely a fun little, like, fuck, it goes for like 10 minutes or something. It's not even that long, is it?
No, it's pretty short.
Yeah.
Number 8, another Australian artist. We've now got 3 Australian artists having appeared with this, because We Will Look Back at You on the KK Fever Dream. OK Hotels, Come and Find Me. This is just another case like at the Tiny Little Houses. I don't think it's the most groundbreaking music that's been put out, but I think it's a band that's just doing the basics really well. I found just a lot of catchy moments on this EP that have kind of just been stuck in my head through the year. I don't think it's like even the most explicit to talk about EP out there, but I think it's just like, if you like that surf punk that they're doing, which I do, I've been over the years quite a lover of surf rock and surf punk. I think it's it's just a really good EP for that. Number 7, and this is the first band to out of anyone to put me on their Instagram story, so thank you very much, Keratin, for that.
Hell yeah.
Yes, Keratin, Only I. Melbourne's Screamo. This just went fucking hard, man. I mean, it's Screamo. We've come to appreciate it, obviously. I think this is the start of... No, I mean, it's not the start, it's the continuation. But we're really starting to see the fifth wave emo scene appearing in the underground Australian scene. And Keratin just basically went start to finish Screamo, some absolutely fucking incredible riffs in there, and just, it's not something I would play at a dinner, but or try my hardest to basically not sing along in public, but fuck, it goes hard. I recommend it.
Yeah.
Number 6, we're continuing on that trend. It's Doris's birthday cards. I in the end, they were both pretty similar in my enjoyments, but I just liked the songs individually on birthday cards a little more, and that's kind of what edged it out for me. I think. I mean, I'm obviously very excited to see Doris at the end of this week. I've seen some of the live clips, and the singer just turns away from the mic because it's that small of a venue and just starts screaming that way.
Huh.
So that's gonna be an absolute hell. But this, it showed quite a lot of just different sounds going into this. I think it was quite an impressive EP to still put out, even if I wouldn't call it perfect by any means. I think it's still one of the best EPs of this year. Me running out of breath because I'm talking for too long after a cold. Do not recommend it.
R.I.P.
Yeah, just good shit. Good shit from the
R.I.P.
Novacrossians. Number 5, this was for a period of time my favorite EP of the year, but then obviously we went further into the year. That is the various artists We Share the Same Insects and I Became Birds tribute compilation. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of I Became Birds, and getting this absolute just masterclass, I guess, or not masterclass, supergroup of fifth wave emo artists onto this compilation was just insane. We got some of the most interesting takes on I Became Birds songs, and to the point in which I think only the last song kind of sounds similar, which I think is just impressive enough as it is. We had Stomach Book during the opener that made it just a Stomach Book song. Paranol during Long Distance Conjoined Twins was not on my bingo card this year, but it was definitely on my Pornhub favorites this year. Number 3, I believe, was the Asian Glow during Sewn Together, which was just a great post-rock version of it. Lobster Fight, just lobster fighting. The great classification of stingrays. Hekra, the proto-fifth wave artist, during a remix of Assisted Harakiri and turning it basically into an indie pop tune was fucking insane. And then just, Wake But Still in Bed doing a pretty straightforward cover of The Old Country, but I think Shannon's vocals worked pretty well in it, and obviously she was pretty important for the Whaler as well. Number 4, one of the catchiest EPs of this year, full of just a lot of moments in which I kept singing along. One of my favorite live shows of this year as well is going to be Royal Otis's Sofa Kings. It's just one of those cases, again, of which just everything off it is executed really well. Again, for a point, I thought this could have ended up my favorite EP of the year, despite it not being a boundary-pushing EP or anything. I just think it's just full of just great songs. I don't think there's a single bad song off it. I think it's all executed well. The moments on there I've been constantly singing to myself over the year. The title track off it as well was one of my favorite moments to see live. Again, it's probably not the most to talk about, but it was just a great EP. Number 3, Ben Crod Hand Signals. This is where the Matt Kroll controversy came in for you too, because does this one get considered a single? And in the end, they've released it as a cassette. That's good enough for me. Actually, the big reason why I consider this to be an EP still was because Billie Eilish's 2 songs that were released last year were considered an EP, and this has basically got just as much right. It doesn't seem to be released as a single. Both songs of it are great. Obviously, I'm going to enjoy one song more than the other. But it was just really great 4 minutes of just emo. It might have been short, but remember my favorite EP of last year is Origami Angel, and that lasted probably around the same amount of time.
No, Origami Angel was longer a little bit. Well, no, maybe not.
Yeah, I'm not looking for the specifics of it, but yeah. Number 2, which I expect to see on both of your EP lists, is Teenage Dad's Midnight Driving. That one was just a very fun EP.
Yeah.
I think that's the case of that is what an EP for that band and their current time.
Oh, come on. My cat just knocked over my goddamn fruit punch.
Damn cats. it was a case of they experimented with their own sound, not being experimenting in a groundbreaking way. I guess that's the term I like to say. Um, but from that, we got just quite a lot of different moments. It felt like each song could have easily have been on a different album, but they were executing everything that they were doing quite well.
Yeah.
And it was just a really impressive EP to get. And number one, I feel like this is the cheapest way to say it, but it's just true. Number one is Dust's etc. etc. And it wins because it fucks. It was just straight up just a really fucking impressive EP. It felt like a mini album in a way.
Yeah, it
It
was
is
like
classified as an EP, so I guess it kind of cheats, but it felt like a mini album, and it just I don't know. You can easily just start it and then end it in the same breath.
it had a
Basically,
beginning, middle, and
it
end.
was it was very just hard hitting, impressive. The politics on it actually interesting to listen to, even if they weren't the most obscure politics to have, or even the most specific politics to have. I mean, Dust is probably the band to see live right now if you haven't seen them. I know it's not just live artists that we're talking about, and I'm just giving reasons why I love this. Yeah, that was my favorite EP of the year. I'm handing over. Trix, do you have a top EPs of the year, even if it's a top three?
I have a top 5.
You got a top 5. Would you like to go next, or would you like Domino to go next?
Sure, I can go next.
Hell yeah.
I don't have like a one to like a proper list. I have kind of just a nebulous top 5.
That's fine.
Let me just mark a note down real quick. And there we go.
Yeah, I hope
Okay,
you two have been
so-
note taking whilst I did that, because I gave a couple hints.
Oh, trust me, I'm working.
I was taking notes more for my top 5. So
Ready when you are.
I have okay. So in my kind of nebulous top 5, I have Bigger Boots But Tush, the Mac Kroll Fair Warning EP, 100 Gex Snake Eyes, the Royal Otis Sofa Kings, and Teenage Dad's Midnight Driving.
Fair enough. All pretty solid choices, I would say.
Yeah, I believe the Mac Kroll one is actually called for some other reason, by the way.
It was for some other reason.
Yeah.
I forget exactly. But Fair Warning is the song off the EP that's best.
It is worth noting, too, for both Snake Eyes and Keratin, that this is where our cycle comes into play, as those are both December releases from last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
As for me, I have a list of 10 EPs. And as you may have seen, I went through some iteration process with this, trying to make sure I got everything I needed to get on here, and it took me some time. So I'm going to start with number 10. We're going to do the Bosses EP Jokes. And it's a pretty solid little shoegaze project so far. Lucas Kukas is now a part of it, so I'm expecting the future of this band to be even more interesting. But what we have is pretty much the summation of discography so far is decent. It's good. It's kind of what you were classifying with the bottom parts of your list, Ritz, was like, I like this. It's not like world changing or anything, but I just like it. And so that's kind of where we start. After that, number 9, I'm gonna go with Out West's All the Wild Horses. This is an EP that I liked more than you two, and I think, just thinking about it now, it's a little bit of recency bias, but songs like Carousel and All the Wild Horses are just nice songs. I think I don't know, it just stuck with me a lot more than I think it did for you two, and I had another EP that I recently covered on here, but I removed it because I felt that it was similar enough for stuff we covered last year. It was the Tropical Flux Storm stuff, so we kind of already did it. And the changes were, while good, were not enough for me to be like, it's remarkably better. So that kind of got excised, and Out West stayed. After Out West, in number 8, we got Doris's Birthday Cards, which you've already talked about. Pretty solid, grungy, emo-y EP. Ties in nicely with the Mouse album. After that, number 6, or wait, not 10, 9, 8. Number 7 is Bigger Boots, but on Tish. Similarly to the Dust EP, it is an interesting structure. There are things happening in it. I think that the Bigger Boots EP is a continuation of what makes him so interesting from A Fork in My Fingers. I really appreciate the field recording aspect, the documentary aspect of it. I appreciate when the straight songs happen, and I also appreciate when we're just getting glimpses into the past. I think it's an interesting way to present more music. After that, I think number 6 is probably the most underrated release of the year. The first time we ever got something released in advance for us to cover. Grief Eaters for Once Than Something. I think Sienna is a really great track.
I will make you happy quickly. I did have this in my consideration for top 10. It just missed out.
Fair enough.
It was 15, so 5 just missed out, but yeah.
Sienna's a great track. I heard Sienna live.
Considered it in my top 10s. Considered to share it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, Bounty Hunter is interesting too. I have listened to this EP many times throughout the year. I like it. It doesn't quite capture will you please be quiet, please. They didn't really capture what that had necessarily, but I still think it's a solid effort, and there were some really interesting tracks. And I am still really curious where this band goes from here. If this is the supposed B-side collection of songs they had written. After that, number 5 is the Various Artists We Share the Same Insects and I Became Birds tribute compilation for largely the same reasons you said. It's a really nice gathering of the different fifth wave emo artists covering an EP or album that we all really love. Just kind of a meeting of the minds and a great tribute. It's my favorite kind of split or mix or compilation of the year. Number 4, no surprise at all, Teenage Dad's Midnight Driving. My only real complaint is that Hey Diego is not a 2023 song. It is unfortunately squarely a 2022 song. That's the best track on there, no doubt. And I don't love like every track on there, but there's a lot of great stuff on that EP. After that, also like you said, fucking Keratin's Only I EP. Really nice, really heavy, really surprising too. When you suggested it, I was probably the most blown away by this pick of yours that I've been in a minute. Just kind of like the surprise of it, the hit of it, it all was just, it left a really great impression. Hateful is a song I go back to quite a bit. After that, Dust, etc., etc. Nice little EP, a little mini album even. It has the beginning, it has the close, it has that nice sax, it has just a sound that is different from other things. There is that emo indie scene in Australia that we've kind of talked about. I think Mouse and Doris kind of expound upon that makes it seem like something that we're going to have to cover more intently in the future. Even if I don't know if it's exactly fifth wave emo per se, but it is a new like scene of something that I'm very curious to follow up on.
I feel like with fifth wave though, it's basically each country has its own aspect of it. I know there's obviously crisscross between different. I mean, because I wouldn't call claustrophobia pop to be an Australian thing, but obviously we will look back at you as done it.
Right, and I wouldn't necessarily call.
You could look at South Korea, and they're a lot more post rocky.
But also
got Weatherday, who is Sweden.
But I also wouldn't call Masatui necessarily in the same league as what's going on here. Similar-ish, but different still.
Yeah. Yeah.
So also it's probably like a timing aspect. These are bands that were maybe releasing stuff a little bit before, but are becoming more nascent and known now. But that is to say, my number 1, of course, we've talked about it enough. It is the Matt Kroll EP. Mike Kroll's work has gone from being one of my least favorite things we've covered. I don't like most of his discography compared to what I like about this EP. I don't think he's a bad artist. He's just really not for me. And I think having the guy from Superchunk in here, the guy who founded Merge Records, sing on this and do some of the work, it really unlocks it for me. It really feels like that EP is something that was made in the 60s, but also like filtered through the 90s, and it fell out of time into now. Like, it is everything that the Elephant Six crew wanted to get. Mac McCowan is just, really good as a singer. It's all just coming together in just the right way, and it's basically an accident that these tracks even happen. Just like Mike Kroll had them lying around and just sent them off, just like, hey, do you want to put your vocals on this? And lo and behold, it happened. The pandemic does wonderful things sometimes, here and there. Nice things happen because of it.
Sometimes.
And with that, it's our EPs wrapped up.
That's
now I'm
wrapped
gonna
up.
ask: is there any clues that would like to be asked, or is there any even songs you would like to guess right now?
I'll shoot out a guess.
Sure.
Go ahead.
And just can I clarify real quick?
Doritos and Fritas by 100 Gags.
I am going to not accept that, Trix, because that was a 2022 song.
Shit, fair.
I was gonna.
It actually made my top 200 in that year.
I wanted to clarify real quick. We have to have
Right,
different. We have to have different lists, right?
Yes. So if one of you already suggests a song, I'm just not going to allow it.
I will make a guess. My first guess is "Flamethrower" by King Gizzard.
Alrighty, that is being written down. Dominic has 9 slots remaining.
Can I ask another question?
Okay.
Go ahead.
How likely is it in this top 100 that we will run across artists that will have more than one song on there? Not an exact number, but are there a number of them? Are there any?
I believe the percentage. Let's do it. Let's do the calculation. Let's see. So I've already said the amount of unique artists in this countdown between you two, and that is 87. So it is therefore 13 songs from an artist that you've already heard. So therefore, if we do the technical math in there of considering not even like the first time you've heard it, or sorry, considering the first time you've heard it to still be a part of it. What is I believe it's around a 1 in chance that you would have you hear a song from an artist that's got oh, that's correct. Maybe it's just 1 in 10. But yeah, the answer for that is that there's 87 unique artists.
That's fair.
Song in countdown.
That's something I should have just known because I can read that.
I'm honestly just not even really caring about the limit of questions here, so just don't even worry about it.
Fair enough.
Because I feel like this is going to be enough of a variety anyway. I should make it a little bit easier for you two. Because there are songs in there which we just haven't covered. There'll be plans to cover the artists later. One of them I did have plans to cover, but I just didn't get around to it. And then obviously, the big stat that's in there is that 53 songs are from records that we covered. So the songs that we've covered specifically at some point this year, and then an extra 17 we've at least covered the artist before, and maybe not this year, but at least before.
I will make another guess now, because I already made it before.
Go ahead.
We Will Look Back to You and Love You Forever's Gug.
All right, I'm gonna have to just do this the acronym way. So
I will make a guess too. I'm gonna guess Home is Where Floral Organs.
You're gonna go Home is Where Floral Organs. Trix, you've made your first guess.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So Dominic, you have 8 guesses left. Trix has 9.
In the meantime,
what do we want to go? Yeah, what do we want to speak of next?
Trix, do you have any other lists that you want to talk about?
I have a top 10 albums. That's about it.
Would you like to start with the top 10 albums then? Yeah.
All right. Do you want me to go first since I introduced it?
Yep.
Sure.
All right. So these are my top 10 albums of the year. This is all stuff we've covered on the podcast, and I'm going to just kind of have these in a vague order, nothing kind of concrete.
Yeah, that's fine.
But at number 10, I'm going to put Mac DeMarco's One Wing G. Number 9, Janelle Monáe's Age of Pleasure. Number 8, I'm going to go with Shaky Graves' Deadstock Anthology.
Okay.
7, Phone Boys Moving Out.
I just want to say it like straight up, and this is your next hint, I guess. We haven't really got much crossover yet.
No.
They already know me exist.
King Gizzard's Petrodragonic Apocalypse. Spanish Love Songs, No Joy.
Hell yeah.
Paranormal's After the Night.
After the Night, so the live album.
Yes, I preferred the live album, believe it or not.
I assumed you all would. Just wanted to give a clarification for everyone listening who's about to go, you mean After the Magic? Nope, she knows what she's about.
Nope, I know what I'm about. Then we're gonna get into kind of the top 3. I think I'm at.
Yeah,
because I think I gave you 7. And these can kind of flip between each other, and that is 100 gex, 10,000 gex. Home is Where, The Whaler, and fucking Wall Socket by Underscores.
Hell yeah.
That is the most transgender top 3 you could have picked.
I'm gonna be honest. Most of this week I spent just listening to Wall Socket, trying to figure out where it fit in my top 10 because I knew it was gonna be in there.
Yeah, that's fair. As I die from my cold.
So
do not recommend that.
I made a top 25 albums. If you want to listen to that whole thing.
Yeah, I'm planning, just by the way, I'm planning really doing a deeper dive into the top 10 of it.
I feel
like for time aspect, you should probably do something similar.
I'll probably expand more as we go. But yeah, starting with 25, we've got Private Functions, Hello Asshole. That was an album that was, stuck with me. It's something that has kind of just stuck around at that lower mark, but has been consistent nonetheless. After that, this is arguably an album and EP, but it is the Questionnaire Polish shoegaze thing that we covered during the Fifth Wave Emo Summer Draft. After that, we have Paranormal's After the Magic. Number 17, or I'm sorry, 22. I'm fucking it up already. 22, we have Dog Park Dissonance, the Pink and the Black album. It is a rehash of the EPs, yes, but I like the EPs. We covered it all this year.
Did you do 23?
25, 24, 23 was Paranormal's After the Magic.
Yeah, I think you missed it.
Mm-hmm.
I meant if I missed it, it just didn't come through in the recording because I definitely said it.
Okay.
Yeah, so Private Function, Questionnaire, Paranormal.
22 is Dog Park.
And then 21 is Shaky Graves, Movie of the Week. Album I quite enjoyed more than Deadstock. It is more alternative, but different spin for Shaky Graves. Interesting direction going forward. Number 20, then, we have We Will Look Back to You and Love You Forever's Self-Titled. Number 19, we have Phone Boys Moving Out.
Oh, yeah.
Number 18, we have Genesis Owusu's The Struggler. Or Struggler, I'm sorry. Number 17, we have Momentary Warmth and 17, Momentary Warmth and Postcard Nowhere's Momentary Warmth. 16 is Wednesday's Rat Saw God. Number 15 is Number 15, probably the biggest surprise of the bunch. It is the Barbie soundtrack. 14.
I've seen the list. It's not going to be the most surprising pick.
14 is Elizabeth Whittington's Making a More Consistent Spiral. 13 is Daft Punk's Random Access Memories 10th Anniversary Edition. 12.
This is what I consider to be the most surprising pick.
I mean, oh god, a phone rings. That's new.
Anyway. That's just my doorbell. Don't worry about it.
Alright, 12. 100 gex is 10,000 gex. 11. Jeff Rosenstock's Hell Mode. Number 10. Mouse, Under the Light of the Air Conditioner. Great album. Fantastic references to the microphones and just a nice, interesting, unique sound in a similar way to Elizabeth Whittington. Those are two albums I look to as kind of sounds to look for in the future. Number 9, Origami Angel, The Brightest Days. Not their best,
This
but
is
still.
the first time that we've had a massive disagreement. Just to put on this, because usually I'm up there saying yes, Origami Angel top 10.
It is not the worst Origami Angel we've heard this year by far. It is still quite a good collection of songs. That episode that we listened to, Paranol Home is Where and Origami Angel, is going to be probably the most highly ranked episode in terms of like all three of those are in my top 10. Like there's never going to be another episode where that gets repeated probably. So
unless we do a 3-2-1 somehow.
Yeah.
In one episode.
Yeah.
After that was a fucking great episode.
Number 8 is Sufjan Stevens' Javelin. Javelin's great. A lot of nice songs. It's Sufjan Stevens that is doing what he does best. Number 7, Black Country New Roads, live at Bush Hall. Yes, we just covered it. Is it recency bias, perhaps? But I think it's still really fantastic for them. Number 6, King Gizzard's Petrodragonic Apocalypse. A really great thrash metal album from them. Everything I'm looking for when I go to thrash metal. Just really nice riffs, really interesting use of space and time in their songs, dynamic song structures. It just does what it needs to do. Number 5, Paranol's After the Night, the live album, is also in my top 5. That is a live album that, yes, is redoing a lot of, To See the Next Part of the Dream. It does some stuff from After the Magic. But really, it comes down to Into the Endless Night's 45-minute version. What an epic masterpiece. What a fantastic way to revitalize that song that has been taken down in some places and left up in others. It's just, like, the whole story of Paranol being this anonymous guy into now doing live shows. It's an all-around great story. It's a lovely thing to have now. Number 4 is going to be Home is Where is the Wailer. A great album, a great follow-up to I Became Birds. I still, I guess, like it less than you two do, even though it is my number 4. But I guess number 4 is where I put albums that I still really like, but don't like as much as you two, as Black Country's For the First Time also wound up there.
Hell yeah.
Number 3. Yeah. Number 3 is Wall Socket by Underscores. This is, again, that album that comes through every year, that comes out of nowhere and rockets to the top of the list somewhere. 2021 it was Stomach Book, 2022 was Bigger Boot, now it is Underscores.
Yeah.
Number 2, the album that I consider the most evenly consistent album of the year. Not a lot of skips, all the way through quality. Spanish Love Songs, No Joy. What a great album. What a fantastic surprise that it is. So good.
And you're seeing Spanish Love Songs live soon, aren't you?
I am seeing it. We're recording my time. It's technically Monday now. But this Friday, I will be seeing Spanish Love Songs, Hot Mulligan, Ben Quad, Heart Attack Man, and there's somebody else in there too. I don't know how they're gonna do so many fucking bands.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a little afraid of how many bands there are there and how many songs they're actually gonna get to play. But we'll see.
I'll be fine.
The call time is like 5 o'clock, so it's gonna be a fucking night. But
yeah.
Anyway, my number 1, and it's been my number 1 for most of the year. It's one of those years. We have Mac DeMarco's One Way G, an absolute epic of an album that is mostly just demos, incidentals, things that didn't go anywhere, ambient tracks, just really nice little ditties. It is just a collage of ideas, like a journal. It is probably the most fun I've had listening to an album in a long time. Just sitting down with it, having my 3 listens, and it's over 8 hours long each time. There has not been another experience like that. I can't wait till we will
look back at you down the
there is nothing else that has been quite like it this year for me, where I just had to like really focus and pay attention as much as possible. And all the little things I was doing, like coming up with, where would this fit into a video game? How would this fit into a video game? All that stuff was just great. A lot of fun. And the album just has so many ideas.
I'm going to mention this.
Yes.
Specifically for people who listen here. So Dominic is probably like what carries this podcast on notes. And if you want to see the masterclass of note taking, go to that one Wayne G episode because I think that's the most amount of notes Dominic took for a single album.
Yeah, that like filled the whole fucking album, an whole spiral pretty much. Whole notebook.
It was an insane amount of notes. I genuinely recommend. At some point, Dominic, have you actually published all the notes?
I don't know where to publish them. We should figure that out.
I think you should. I think you should. I think that's worth publishing.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about where to do that off air, I guess.
With that, With that, let's get into my top 20. I'm going to rush through 20 to 11 and go a bit more into the top 10. Number 20, We Will Look Back at You and Love You Forever is a self-titled, crazy fucking album that surprisingly worked and flowed. Number 19, I know this is definitely a disagreement for you two, but I found myself just going back to this and just enjoying this like I did back when I enjoyed them in 2016. It was Luca Brasi's The World Don't Owe You Anything. 18, very unexpected find, but very impressive find from Mouse with Under the Light of the Air Conditioner. Number 17, you two also seem to have not put this in here, but I think just coming back again and appreciating it more, it's worth putting in my top 20, is Awake But Still in Beds, Chaos Takes the Wheel, and I Am the Passenger. Number 16, I believe this is the only one in this whole countdown that we did not cover this whole year, and that is the Bar Italia record, Tracy Denham. Sometimes I listen to albums that we don't cover. I appreciate them a lot. I just picked up the stuff. 15, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard's Petrodragonic Apocalypse, or Dawn of the Eternal Night, and Annihilation, Planet Earth, and the Beginning of Merciless Damnation. Great fucking thrash metal album. 14, again, it's another one of those disagreements, but it's just where I like the music more than you two do, was Geese's 3D Country. 13, unsurprising that it was going to be in my top 20. A bit surprising I put it this low, knowing my previous enjoyment was the new Paranol record, After the Magic. Number 12, just barely missing out on the top 10, is the new Genesis Owusu album, Struggler. Didn't end up enjoying it as much as Smiling with No Teeth, but still quite an impressive sophomore record. And number 11, one of the most chaotic celebrity albums to have ever been released, and I use celebrity in a bit of air quotes, but it is still well known enough, is Jane McCuster's Temps, Party Gator, Purgatory. Number 10, going into, unfortunately, the only Australian act to make my top 10 albums, but was an impressive display of funny and just hard-hitting pub rock, was Private Function's Hell or Arsehole. I think I just had a lot of fun going to this. It had a lot of those just random catchy moments. You know, songs like Misdemeanor, obviously meaning misdemeanor. You know, it's a cheesy pun and stuff like that, but it's fun to sing along. Obviously, the cover of Yellow was one of the fucking highlights in the covers this year. It's fucking should not go as hard as it does.
Yes.
Number 9, definitely in agreement on this. Underscore's Wall Socket. Another one of those just chaotic albums, but this one was a lot more serious in nature. Obviously, you had that talking in Johnny, 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 which speaks very much about a grooming relationship. It is one of the most haunting lyrics for a song that just bops as hard as it does. And then we obviously have some of the slower moments that go towards the end of that album as well. That's get a lot more depressing, and it's just like it's a chaotic album, in a great way. It's very comparable in number 8, which is 100 Gex, 10,000 Gex, which I've had them both very close to each other. I decided just in the end, I think 10,000 Gex had some bigger highlights off it. Album-wise, I think so I've come to appreciate some of the earlier songs off that album a lot more as well. They had one of the best fucking live shows this year as well. I recommend anyone who hasn't seen 100 Gex live, catch them when you can. One that both of you seem to completely forgotten, but never got away from my listening this year. Number 7, Feeble Little Horses, Girl with Fish.
I did not forget about it.
This is just a fun...
I did not either.
This is an album in which it still hits as hard for me this year as when I first heard it. It is just a very interesting album full of some of the most like interesting little indie shoegaze, but also just folk moments that happen in there. Some really great vocal harmonies and melodies that go into the whole album. Obviously, the screaming that happens at the end of Pocket, we all loved. And even with you two, who probably weren't so keen on the album, loved Pocket.
I remember Pocket being good.
Mm-hmm.
Steamroller, Freak, the opener. I know you want me, Freak. Sweet, the single and stuff, all that. Fun parts of that album. Number 6, I think Trix, you called this every song was a Cure knockoff, but in a great way. Is Spanish love songs No Joy.
Yeah.
You're right. This is one of the most consistent albums of the year. Has probably one of the strongest starts to any album as well. That first 5 songs are just fucking incredible.
Yeah.
It's in all of our top 10s.
Yeah. Spanish Love Songs was my favorite gig this year. It just, everything about it was just a fantastic fucking gig. The songs themselves as well. I really only just started listening to this band this year. I know their last album got quite a bit of popularity. I think here we're just hearing a lot more maturity in such a good way. It's not just, oh, listen to us now, you know, our song structures have a chorus and stuff. I think there's some genuine, actual kind of like aging in a good way in this album as well compared to their previous stuff, in which it sounds different and unique. And it's not like, oh, is this better? It's like, it's different and it's good. I like it. 5, probably the most heartbreaking album this year, and I hate going and giving context as a reason for bringing things up, but context does matter in some cases, and it's what makes it so heartbreaking. And honestly, it's just lovely the whole fucking way through. Stefan Stevens' Javelin. I feel like the most comparable album to this is Mount Erie's A Crow Looked at Me, but this is less of a diary and more of just kind of processing grief. And it has, I don't know, it's just just the outros and all the harmonies and all the just the Stefan Stevens makes really chill music, but he just makes it so, despite it being so chill and so like minimalistic at times, it's very fucking memorable, and he's been doing this great since the noughties.
I mean, he's also,
it's heartbreaking, it's fucking luscious, and it's beautiful.
He also, you know, he's done Heartbreak before in Carrie and Lowell, and this is a different kind.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Number 4, and a complete different change. I like this album quite a lot still. I think it just, the production on it was interesting, the sampling, the rap flows and stuff were great. It's JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown scaring the hose. I just loved how the samples worked in this on the lines. I mean, obviously the first line being "fuck Elon Musk, that $8 too expensive." It's a very memorable opening to this album. But then having some actual, like, just the samples in it being used to create some of the most like actual like fucking bopping beats in hip hop that I've heard in a while. JPEG Mafia is one of the best producers and slash rappers currently in the scene at the moment, and then Danny Brown has one of the most unique vocal flows. Fantastic. Fucking thing. I think the most memorable line of that whole album as well is the line referencing Whitney Houston's overdose. It's just, they don't feel afraid to like kind of like they JPEG Mafia specifically has always been happy to be edgy artist, and I like when they just don't even hold back on it. They're like edgy in such a fucking fun way. Number 3. It fucks. I can't really tell you much more than it fucks. It fucks. Jeff Rosenstock's Hell Mode. Hell yeah! Please come to Australia again, please. I beg you. I want to.
Come to Brazil.
I want to sing. Yeah, come to Brazil. I want to sing half these songs live. I've obviously been listening to Jeff Rosenstock for a couple of years now, but this is like the first album which I fully listened to the full of it, and I'm like, yeah, no, every part of this is great. Number 2. This is the year where apparently I started to appreciate country, but not Trix's country. It's Wednesday's Rat Saw God. This was country shoegaze. It had some of the most interesting storytelling of the album. You say one of the biggest crimes was Teddy being, not Teddy, sorry, Hey Diego, probably for Trix is Teddy, is Hey Diego being a 2022 song. You know that one of the biggest crimes is Bull Believer being a 2022
Oh, yeah, that's the other one. Yes.
Yeah.
Bull Believer is a fantastic song.
Yeah, and originally I was like, do I just like this Bull Believer and then everything else is kind of good? But then, no, the other fucking songs are actually just as good as Bull Believer. I've put the bias aside, and it's one of the best songwriting, some of the best new sounds coming out. In almost any other universe, that one album of the year. I know it's the standard. Oh, look at all the indie publications putting it out, but for once they're fucking right. But number one should come as no surprise. This isn't just album of the year. This is quite over the past couple months turned into what is one of my favorite albums of all time. I have no shame in ever saying that. Home is Where the Whaler. It's such a conceptual masterpiece in which I feel like every time I decide to analyze it again, I just find more, and it's just constant analyzing of everything that fucking happens in there. But so much happens, but yet it doesn't overcrowd itself. It's a contrasting album in all the good ways. We get the heavy moments hitting because of these softer moments, and even the softer moments are fucking luscious or beautiful in their own way. I mean, Daytona 500, it's a country song, and I fucking love it.
Yep.
I've made my position clear when we went on like an hour speak about the Whaler, and it was mostly just me anyway. But I said then it was a 10 out of 10 album. I say now it's a 10 out of 10 album. Still, it is better than I Became Birds. So best album of the year. It's fucking fantastic.
It's a 10.
It's never gonna lose.
10 out of 10.
It's a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Incredible.
I would like to add on to the Whaler. It was really cool as shit that Dominic and I got to see Skin Metal live before 2 years before it released.
Yeah, that would have been fucking hot.
For me, it was Skin Metal and Sienna, so I got to see it twice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I am reflecting on my.
Any more clues or guesses?
I just want to say I'm reflecting on my top albums of the years. Every year we've done this show, and I think it's very interesting how every year has gone for me. 2019 was a weird year because that's when we started. I didn't listen to nearly as much, so that is a weird choice of being Health's Grand Theft Auto Online Arena War soundtrack. So that's we never covered that. But number 2 was Mac DeMarco's Here Comes the Cowboy. Funnily enough, 2020 I did Paranorals. Was it Paranormal? No, I did the Microphones in 2020. 2021 was Paranorals to see the next part of the dream. Was it? No. Yeah. 2021. No. 2021 was Gami Gang.
21. Beautiful World was your favorite song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gami Gang was 21.
Your Beautiful World was your number 1 song in Gami Gang.
22 was Answer Up There. Now here we are with 23 of Mac DeMarco coming back around again to claim the number 1 spot with 108 G.
And funnily enough, we agreed on favorite song of the year in 2022. A rarity.
Yes.
Now, Trix, do you have a favorite songs of the year list?
I don't have a favorite songs of the year.
Dominic,
I do.
You?
I don't.
We'll at least have Dominic go through one of those.
It is not a complete ranking of it. It is more of just I didn't have a lot of time, so I put together 25 songs that I liked and that will be in heavy consideration for the top list. But I do want to make a couple guesses before we go
into that. Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Clues have gone from being 2 of a limit to just being indefinite. I don't give enough shits. So, if you want to ask some clues before you make a guess, I would implore you. Reminder that Trix can hear them, but I don't think we're actually carrying too much.
Well, I'm going to make a guess here. I'm going to say Wednesday's Turkey Vultures is on your list.
Okay.
Now, just to confirm...
You have 7 guesses.
Do you have any restrictions as to how many songs from an artist can appear on your top 100 list?
So, funnily enough, and you will get an answer to this, and I want to give this answer, even if it might spoil a bit, just because I think it's good to give a bit of insight to how my list works. Officially, I don't have a restriction. I've never put that on myself. But, I mean, if you look at 2017, my top list there, I actually have a couple artists who got 3 songs in. Jungle Giants, off the top of my head, I gave 3 songs. I gave On the Way Down, Used to Be in Love, and Feel the Way I Do. Tired Lion, and I got 3 in. Brand New, Go Fuck Yourself, Jesse Lacey got 3 songs in. Fuck, what else got in there as well? I swear there was a bit. Alt J got 3 songs in. Mac DeMarco got 3 songs in. So that's actually kind of a lot. But most of the artists that got multiple got 3 in. 2018, which is it's the one I kind of regret the most. I feel like I could have done a better list, but it is still kind of a reflection of my listening. It's just how it is. You will never see another artist beat this, and I'll explain why. Brockhampton got 8 songs in.
Wow.
I listened to a shit ton of Brockhampton that year. They won it, and my favorite album of that year was a Brockhampton album. I've gone to kind of retract that 10 out of 10. It's now a 9 out of 10. That's just how it is on it. I still think it was Song of the Year, San Marcos back then. I might not put it as my favorite song of 2018 anymore, but that's just how it is. That's how my listening was that year. That's how it all bloody was. I've kind of gone to regret that, and it's kind of why we got a bit of a restriction that's in which I try to make the most that an artist can get in as being the base art. And it's not restricted to anything else other than just the song. So albums, EPs, list does not come into play for this.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to make it a max of 2, but if I think they've had enough good songs, I will push that back, usually to 3. And the thing that comes into consideration, one artist does have 3 this year. They potentially had 4, but I decided to move it back just because I wanted to give another artist a chance at 100. That is what happened this year in that. It is not always the album of the year that gets that. And 2020, Hockey Dad got my album of the year, but got 2 songs in, whilst Oliver Tree got 3 songs in. 2019, Boom, who was number 6 in my albums of the year, got 2 songs in with that album and a single to get him 3 in that year as well.
All right.
So that is kind of the long answer to your question.
Okay.
Trix, I'm going to ask you for a clue or a guess, just because I don't want Dominic to have 4 guesses without you having any. You got to go steal some.
Okay. I am browsing.
I feel like one was made rather obvious during our discussions a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Definitely, there's definitely enough in here. There's ones to other people that would be really obvious, and honestly, number 1 shouldn't be the biggest surprise, but I'm obviously not going to know what it is.
I'm browsing through the archives. Give me a minute. Apologies.
Well, Dominic, how many songs do you have in your top list?
I have 25.
Are they ranked 25 to 1?
No, not at the moment. I will be
going.
ranked,
they're not poorly. Okay.
I will be going back later to do it properly.
Well, do you want to just, while Strix is doing, do you want to save one of those songs?
I guess I'll start with talking about kind of. I know that as far as any of this goes, I know I wanted to have Few and Far Between in there. Few and Far Between from the Brightest Days. What a fantastic fucking pop punk anthem. So fucking good. So like that was my first thought when starting this list.
That's a very fair enough reason to put in there. I want to stress to everybody else who does all these rankings. So I personally try to do it in a way that is from 200 to 1 is the best songs I've heard, getting better and better. But I think it's not always has to be specific in that. And doing like, oh yeah, this is the song that was important, even if it might not be the best. No, in this case, it probably is still one of your best 25 songs of the year. But it's not always like a case of like, oh yeah, this is. You could hear a song that's better than than number 2,
right? And
have it placed as like number 5,
Mm-hmm.
or not even in there. It doesn't matter. It's all personal. I mean, honestly, I look at my list and I go, there was probably going to be even today. I say, actually, we'll move that up. But at a certain point, you just got to go and lock it in and say, there was a period of time where this was all true. It's good enough for me.
Well, I want to clarify that I did the list this way because I did it 20 minutes before the show.
That's fair.
That's fair. I think I have a guess.
Go ahead. You don't want to ask a clue beforehand?
No, I'm just gonna shoot out a guess because I'm gonna guess "Reemerging Signs of the Apocalypse" by Spanish Love Songs.
Yep, I got Spanish love songs, re-emerging signs of the apocalypse. If I go apocalypse correctly, that'd be nice.
I will also make my Spanish love songs guess then.
Give me 2 seconds, just so I can properly have merged this. So, because I'm writing this all down, obviously. So, yep, you want to make a Spanish love songs guess?
Yes, my guess is I'm gonna miss everything.
All right, Spanish love songs. I'm gonna miss everything.
Apologies if I'm coughing throughout this. I am the vape shop does not open until tomorrow, and my Viho is on its very, very last legs.
Oof. So at this current moment of time, Chicks, you have 8 guesses left, and Dominic, you have 6.
Yeah, I'm waiting for track lists to load on my end.
That's fair.
In the meantime, I can talk more about.
I got really slow data.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Few and Far Between was the first thing I wanted to hit. If we're talking about songs that I think were impressive, songs that I think were important, I of course go back to Into the Endless Night's 46-minute version. Actually, looking at it again, I think Parental doing that is an absolute achievement, and it's something that is worth talking about for forever. It's just a huge moment in his discography is doing this 46-minute beast live at that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably one of the most transcendent moments of a live show that we've covered this year. And beyond that, then it's like, okay, I've got a couple of the important things. What else is there to do? Let's go see what my favorite album has. And like you, Ritz, I like to try to limit it to about 2 tracks. So looking at One Way and G, I'm like, what's going to be in here? And I know that Stratocaster is going to be in there because I think Stratocaster is a really fantastic song. And I think the other one that I was going to go with, because I think there's a number that I could go with because there's a lot of great tracks on there. I went with 2019 0722, which is that really funky one. What do you call it? Garbage funk or something like that?
Yeah, I believe that's
funk.
I believe
because it's based off an old video of Mac DeMarco going for his computer.
I believe that is the right one. Then yes, I'm pretty sure that's the right track. 2019 0722.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, we know which one you're on about. It's just Garbage Funk.
Yeah. My favorite off One Way and G is probably She Wants the Sandwich.
I was gonna say it's 100% a food related one for Trix.
It is.
And then moving on.
Hell, I'm still preparing to mentally 65 hot dogs.
Yeah, you gotta get out on your hot dog game.
That's a disappointment actually when I put out this stat because last year we had I think we had 4 food related songs on my top 100, but now we don't even have. I don't even know if we got any.
Damn.
Wow.
What did we have? We had 4. Yeah, last year was 4 food related song titles. I'm going to, before I lock this in, how many do I have that are food related? And I have to specifically be about a food. No, so it can't just be about an animal you can eat because there are 3 animal songs in this. And let's take a look. Yeah, I believe I've got no food related. No, wait. Apologies. Not exactly a food related, but it is. Well, it's not exactly a food in the title, but I would be happy to call it food related.
Sure, what is it?
Which. No, you're not getting that one.
Had to try.
Had to try.
Anyway,
I am struggling to load song tracks on my end, so it might just be the 2 guesses from me.
I wanna point this out, Trix. It wasn't in your top 10, and I'm shocked that it wasn't in your top 10.
Ah, fuck. Is it gonna be a Pizza Death song?
I'm not gonna tell you what it's gonna be.
Fuck. Okay, let me pull up that Pizza Death album. I have that one downloaded to my phone.
If you have an idea of an artist, by the way, and you need a track listing, I'm happy to just tell you the full album track listing because I think think that's fine.
Yeah, let's name all 20 Pizza Death
I'm gonna
tracks
tell
on
you
that
if it's on
album.
it.
Pasta of Muppets by Pizza Death.
You gonna go Pasta with Muppets?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember what your favorite off of this one was.
I can't remember exactly what I said on the episode as well, because usually that changes.
Yeah. And I'm at this point I'm just going for tracks.
Oh, that's fair.
Can you the Party Gator Purgatory? Can you
Load it up.
give me a track listing?
Yep. Look Alive and Play Dead. Kept. Party Gator R.I.P. No is a 2022 song, so I can't pick that one.
Mm-hmm.
At brackets moves. Party Gator Purgatory. If I Could Just. Bleed Them Toxins. Party Gator Resurrection and Slow Return.
Let's go Party Gator Resurrection.
Alrighty.
I don't think it's going to be the one, but I'm just throwing out guesses.
Oh, that's basically what it is. Honestly, I'll look at all of this and I'll be able to tell you who's won, but I won't.
In the meantime,
In fact, like now that you both have 4, I can safely say that you are tied.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that could mean we have like 2 each, or we both have 0.
yes, anything is possible.
I will tell you that the tiebreaker comes into play and solves it at the moment.
Okay.
I'll continue on my thought process of choosing my favorite songs for a minute, as we think.
I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still tied. Anyway, yeah, continue.
So I got one main G on there. So then I want to think about what are some other stuff that's maybe not my top albums or anything that I want to make sure I get in there. And so the first song that pops to mind with that thought process is Sienna from Grief Eater is a great track. I heard it live. I was following that track until I heard it on the studio album or like the EP. So I want to make sure Sienna got its moment. And then, so it's like, okay, I got that. That's another important one to nail down. What else is there? Going then to like, I really like Javelin. What's on Javelin? Javelin, there's 2 tracks that I keep going back to. Genuflecting Ghost and My Red Little Fox. There's a lot of great songs on Javelin. Shit Talk's another really good one. But it's those 2 songs specifically. But if I'm choosing any 2, it is Genuflecting Ghost and My Red Little Fox. Similarly, looking at other top albums I have, No Joy, for example, it's hard to really cut down No Joy into like, okay, what for sure is coming on here? There's, like I said, it's super consistent. So if I really am looking to pick 2, Lifers as an opener is fan-fucking-tastic. Has a lot of great moments. It just really sets the mood, the tone, everything. And and related to that, because Lifers has that whole bit about like the guy saying he's okay with his head wide open. That made me then think about I'm gonna miss everything, which opens up in the ambulance with the brother and being asked like what year it was and wondering if there's a war going on and everything. And so it's like those 2 songs thematically linked enough that I think they both have a great shot at making the 25 when I finally do the list for real. Similarly, another big album I have is Underscores. Underscores, 2 songs came to mind immediately. Duh and Old Money Bitch. Great tracks, making that list pretty certain. Mackerel is another one that came up pretty quickly. Fair Warning, of course, I think is going to make this list. I'm also going to try to see if, for some other reason, will shake out as well. If those 2 songs make the list, that will probably be the most, outside of like Microphones in 2020 being included. 2 out of 3 songs from one project on your top 10, top 25 list ain't bad.
Yeah, that's
66%.
Actually, probably one of
I
the.
can tell you safely there was a chance of 100% getting in there, but just
fair enough. Another album that I knew I was going to pick a bunch of songs from and had tried to limit it to 2. Petrogonic, King Gizzard's album. I really like Flamethrower. Flamethrower is going to be in there for me. And then it really came down to, do I want to choose Dragon or do I want to choose Supercell? And I think Dragon's a great track as well. But if I'm going to go, what am I going to come back to? Actually, this is also a hard question because I'll come back to Dragon quite a bit as well. But Supercell needs its moment. Supercell's great. From there, it's okay. I got 15.
Can I make a guess? Can
Yeah.
I make a guess, Dominic? Is one of your favorite openers of the year on this list?
Yes,
Genesis Owusu.
yes, it is. Leaving the Light is indeed on here. I have that as my 22nd song. Because after I got King Giz on there, I was just kind of cycling through, looking at lists, making sure I got all the bases covered. So your Jeff Rosenstock's Future is Dumb has to be on there. Momentary Warmth Maybe Tomorrow has to be on there, or maybe it doesn't, but that's a song I do definitely go back to. Laughing Song by Black Country, that's a recent one that I listened to that I quite like, so that's going to be on there. We'll see how it shakes out. We're at 19 now, so it's like, okay, what else am I missing? 100 Gex. What's from 100 Gex am I going to go back to? Billy Knows Jamie. We'll see how that one shakes out. Similarly to having the best opener, one of the best openers in Leaving the Light, another song that I wanted to make sure got its recognition has the best opening moments of a song in probably the whole fifth wave scene. And I kind of like put down the song in the recording because I said it was probably the weakest one, but here it is. It's I Ripped My Mom Jeans by Dan Macy. And then,
Which,
of course,
unfortunately, was my number 200.
yes. And so, of course, I'm thinking Dan Macy,
Yes,
so
that
then
is
it's
so fucking funny.
you're thinking Dan Macy. You also think of Elizabeth Whittington. So number 21 is My Uselessness Caught on Tape. And this numbering isn't fully what it's going to be,
exactly.
but and then looking through the list, it's like, shit, fucking the Barbie soundtrack had so many good songs. Shit. So 23 and 24, we got Dance the Night and What Was I Made For? Two really fantastic songs. I think the Ken song is also really good. And then we're at 25, and it's like, fuck, I haven't done Home Is Where yet. So there's Daytona 500.
It's going to be a heartbreaking list no matter what you do when you finalize it. Yes. That is how I felt with my top 100. It is, when we talk about popular releases this year, it has been 50-50. There's been some very mediocre popular releases that we haven't been bothering to cover. There's been some good ones. I mean, the Barbie soundtrack was better than it had any right to be. But when it comes to just the underground and the stuff that we discovered, holy fuck, there's been some really high quality music this year.
Yeah.
And just doing a personal list is just heartbreaking.
And yeah, we always seem to come to the best stuff at the end of the year, no matter what time of year it came out.
You got 6 guesses each left. I recommend just asking the most wildest clues you can think of.
All right. I'll go for the obvious one, actually. You mentioned Johnny by name, so I'm going to say that's one of them.
I'm going to go with Old Money Bitch. It's one of those two.
Yep, so you both are doing an underscores guess. Trix is Old Money Bitch. Dominic is Johnny.
Yes.
5 guesses left. And I totally didn't create a column of 9 for each. Idiot.
I think Fair Warning, or not Fair, For Some Other Reason is going to be on, by Matt Kroll is going to be in your top 100. I remember that was your favorite off that EP.
For some other reason. Is that what you...
For Some Other Reason, not Fair Warning.
I will make my other King Gizzard guess and say Supercell.
Alright, you're going for 2 King Gizzard guesses. Supercell and Flamethrower. I'm
also going to throw down a King Gizzard guess, but I'm going to say Gila Monster this time.
Oh, we're getting some interesting guesses coming.
I know it's not Dragon because that made your list.
Yeah, that's already been played. So let's see what's on this. So Trix, you've guessed Floral Organs, Reemerging Sides of the Apocalypse, Pastor of Muppets, Party Gator Resurrection, Old Money Bitch. For some other reason, and Gear Monster, meaning you got 3 left. Dominic, you've guessed Flamethrower, Gug, Turkey Vultures, I'm Gonna Miss Everything, Johnny, and Supercell, meaning you have 4 left. I'm missing any guesses from either of you.
100 Gex 757.
Alright.
I think you gotta have 100 Gex song on there.
Yeah, no, that is a fair guess. They're one of my top albums of the year.
I'm gonna guess Jeff Rosenstock's Like You Better.
I'm going to be aspirational, and even though I know it's not on there, I'm going to say Shaky Graves' Big Bad Wolf live.
I think that seems to be a hope in guess there.
That is totally just like, I know it's not going to be on there, but it would be funny if it was.
So what was the title of the track you said again?
Big Bad Wolf, the live one.
Yeah.
With the like funeral dirge organs.
Yeah, no, I remember that one.
I think
Trix, you got 1 guess left. I would use it carefully.
and I have 3, yes.
Dominic, you got 3.
I will cash them all in right now and guess 3 Home Is Where songs.
Alright. Well, you can't guess floral organs is the
I'm aware.
thing you can't guess.
I'm aware.
Cool.
First guess is Yes, Yes, 1,000 Times Yes.
Yep.
Guess number 2 is Daytona 500. Guess number 3 is Lily Pad Pupils.
Alrighty. So that was sorry, I was an idiot remembering here. That was Yes, Yes, Daytona, and Lily Pad.
Yep.
Can I get a track listing for the Javelin?
Yes, give me 2 seconds. I'm just currently typing this. So, track listing for Javelin is Goodbye Evergreen, A Running Start, Will Anybody Ever Love Me, Everything That Rises, Genuflecting Ghost, My Red Little Fox, So You Are Tired, Javelin, To Have and to Hold, Shit Talk, and There's a World.
My Red Little Fox.
Alright. And with that, I can tell you safely there is a winner.
All right. It is not me, I'm betting.
I was tempted to go, do I just announce it? But no. You get to find out later. Get fucked. And to see who else wins it, well, the thing's already out, so sorry.
Oh, can I ask how is it a close win or is it like a landslide?
Let me just quickly do the calculations.
While Ritz does these calculations, I would like to make a small podcast announcement. We're going to get some new art done.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes. We need some new art done. We are going to look at posting the podcast on other platforms potentially.
Yep.
So we're gonna hit 2024.
I've been scoping out Anchor.
I'm curious how we're gonna do this with a full backlog like we have.
Yeah. I think the move is going to be to release the backlog kind of alongside the new episodes.
We can see what happens, yeah.
Yeah, or we can just wait or I can just try and get all 153 or whatever the fuck episodes up immediately.
I don't know if that'll go well, but we'll see.
So
yeah,
I've done the calculations. So on the upside here, at the very worst, if the song wasn't right, usually the artist was. So that is something that's at least probably not to be unexpected, to be honest. I think that's a bit the easier countdown. That being said, the end score doesn't come down to the tiebreaker. It is 4 points to 1. So the second point gets to one of you, it's exactly like, yep, all right, 1, and you'll understand then. But to obviously not tell you exactly which songs or which positions, it's going to get found out. But it is For the first 4 tracks, it was a tie.
Fair enough.
All right. Fair enough.
I have now completely wasted Trix and Dominic's time. If that is not a good summary of this podcast, I don't know what is.
Is there anything else that we
And
need
me
to?
coughing way too much.
I was
I
wheezing
think
as
we've
well.
kind of covered this year. I know a lot of years we do the whole what's the best album that we've done this year, kind of that, but I think with time constraints and a lot of the reasons of we just mostly covered 2023 this year, I don't think it's really too necessary to do. I think we might push it to an anniversary or something, or look back on.
I do wish to
Mostly
say
because I can't remember half the shit we did.
I do wish to say
Yeah.
the Chumbawamba album was one of my favorite albums we covered this year in general. I do think people should listen to that.
I think that's a perfect case of an album surprising in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, we listen to a lot of the classics, as Trix likes to put on for us, but I think it wasn't my favorite thing we listened to this year, but that Chumbawamba album.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing
I haven't really mentioned as well is my gigs sheet. I'm not really going to go through it right now, but I recommend doing it. This has been my best year for gigs yet in my life. Unfortunately, I was sick over the last week, so I missed the Always concert, which I was kind of hoping to go for, not just because I wanted to see Always, but without that, I am currently scheduled at 49 gigs by the end of the year. I'm looking for one more gig to make that a clean, even 50. That is 50 individual gigs / festivals. One of them being a 2-day festival.
Just go see someone random. You have a month to go see someone random.
I have up to this moment. I haven't actually calculated the last festival I went to, so not actually that good. But not including partial sets that I saw, just full sets. Got 158 sets this year.
But you have an opportunity to go see someone random.
That is my brag.
All right.
Been a great year. Catch a gig if you can. Fucking fun.
Hello.
Oh wait, you know what? I do want to mention one thing about this. The best part was still nerve damage fucking scaling that wall as they were screaming out. Best hardcore set I've seen this year.
Hell yeah.
If Dominic has gone silent,
We cannot hear you, Domino.
All right, give me 1 second.
No. Did you unplug your mic?
1 sec.
Hello.
Dominic,
there we go.
All you would have heard was
There
we go.
There.
You will hear it on the recording because I'm the one recording, so it'll hopefully come through for me. But I wanted to ask, can you just go see someone random? You have 1 gig left. You have a whole month to do it.
Well, the last gig of the year is not going to be the random one, but I am tempted for that. Yes, I'm very, very much tempted to just go. That's happening. But you know what is also tempting? Pigs X7 is playing on Thursday.
Ooh.
Oh.
That is tempting.
I would see them. They seem like they'd be fun live.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they'd go to Australia.
I might need earplugs for that one. Yeah, they're just here this year. But there is a lot of other ones that could catch the wiggles, but I'm not going to. Last time I did that, I got COVID.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, if I ever see Pigs X7, I'm going to see them in a country or state with legality.
Fair enough. Speed is doing an all ages show, for an all ages Christmas show. Actually, at the Hall. That's another tempting one. I'm just looking through all the shit that I just haven't got a ticket to. And then on the last possible day that I can, because on 31st I'm down in Wollongong, already got that festival planned. But on the 29th, there is something that I might go to. And if I get past 50, I got past 50. You know, I'd rather that than this. But it is 5 bands for $5.
Oh.
It costs $5 to see 5 different bands, and that is also pretty fucking tempting.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Who are
like
they?
60 cents a band here.
I have no idea who any of them are. That's what makes it fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
one last thing. Do we want to talk about what our homework's going to be for the break?
Ooh.
Yes. I have something big I have in mind.
Because Trix and I have both known, we both knew we were going to assign what our first big episode is going to be next year.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I'm good at thinking on the spot. I've actually had some plans, so I'm gonna go with them. I'll go last, but
Sure.
All right.
Trix, you go first.
Okay. So, do you guys remember what the longest doom metal song we've covered is?
it's hard to remember the track lengths, but I'm gonna just say it's like Bell Witch or something, or if it's not Dark Smoker.
Yes, it is Mirror Reaper by Bellwitch. Well, I did some digging, and I found the longest doom metal album ever recorded,
Oh no.
and it's one song.
Okay.
Oh no.
And I want you guys to guess at how long it is.
10 hours at least.
It's a little more than 10 hours.
20 hours.
It's 11 hours. And that is Sabazius, the Descent of Man.
How do you spell that?
Sabazius.
Oh,
The Descent of
fuck
Man.
off.
The Descent of Man.
Fuck off.
11 hours.
That's great. That's fantastic. Okay. One Wayne G, one song G.
I don't know if this will help or hurt Ritz, but you mentioned it briefly the previous episode. But me doing the Smile album was not a mistake. My intention was always to do the Smile sessions next.
We're really doing a lot of this, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're doing the Beach Boys, the Smile sessions. We're doing, it's the longest version you can find. The box set with every take of every song and every little bit of it.
Oh boy.
There's a whole disc devoted to just Good Vibrations by itself.
Oh boy.
Well, it's fine, because now that I know that we're going for this insane amount of a length anyway, it was making me think, do I be nice? And do I just give a, just one album or something like that? But no, fuck you two. We're going to go on to an absolute deep dive, baby.
Okay.
Boy.
And the idea that I had in my mind was, there's a genre in Australia that I think is the most Australian sound out of anything we can do. And what would be a better way of going into it than to kind of just talk about some of the most important albums or important bands to ever come out of this scene. So I'm of course talking about the classic that is pub rock. It is what has absolutely defined the scene, or in a sense, pub punk. So we're not getting like the classic Midnight Oils or anything like that, but we're getting the true underground sound that was Australian pub punk. And the way to start that is in the 80s with Cosmic Psycho's self-titled album. But then, of course, if I just did that, that would be not much of the full deep dive that I want to go into. So I think it's then best to kind of talk about something that came out in the 90s and is it's probably not considered to be their best album, but I think it is definitely their most important album. And a band that I think is probably one of the most important in Australian music history. Full stop. And that's going to be Frunzel Rom's Not So Tough Now.
What is the name of the band?
We're going to go skip
Frunzel Rom.
Now, again, if we just ended there, I think it would be
53
unfair.
3 songs.
And I think if we then just go and say, all right, well, that's where pop punk ends, it refuses to acknowledge the evolution that the sound has had and what bands did in a future time. So I'm going to go and pick an artist that I thankfully got to see live this year as well. Never covered before, but wanted to cover them. Is Children Collides, The Long Now. And that puts us into 2000, the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s. So we got one more thing to think about, and it's covering the tens. And there's a lot of shit that could be covered in the tens, and I'm totally not just kind of doing considerations on the fly here to kind of help figure out, okay, what is good sound, what is all that. And I think it's also a case of like, hey, do I want to pick Dune Rats, which I think is a good sign, or do I want to pick a band that kind of more incorporates the I guess the underground scene that kind of follows onto this, because that's more what this is about in the end, isn't it? And I want to pick one of the angstiest fucking albums I know of that came out in the tens, which I like. It's angsty, but I like, and that's going to be Clowns' Bad Blood. I completely screwed up saying that anyway. And in a total, all of those albums only go for around 30 to 40 minutes, so it's not like we're going to the most insane of it. And we still have a decade that's going on right now, don't we?
Yes.
So I guess I should find something from the 2020s as well, shouldn't I?
I was going to challenge you to do
please.
so anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me too.
And I am currently figuring out what would be a great artist to pick from that. So excuse me for 2 seconds, as I am currently still thinking on the top of my head, still talking. And I got to remember that we actually have covered some of them already. I mean, we covered A. Swayze, which would have been a really good one to pick, but we covered that due to the good old Tony Hawk being picked. We've covered the Chats, so we can't cover that one already. So that's unfortunately already picked out. Please, for the love of fuck, I've got to eventually find something that is fantastic to cover here. So I don't know. Do you look good? No. What's come out in the past recent that was fucking great? Oh, you know what? I know this came out that I saw this year as well. That I guess follows under this. And it's also an artist that we never covered. Is the Betty Ray's album that came out last year? Done. There's 5 pub rock to pub punk albums covering 5 different decades.
Hell yeah, we have 3 very different listening experiences throughout our break.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed, we have
fun.
The longest listening yet. And I do think in 2024, my goal is to not have the epic lengths we constantly went to this year. I think we should cut back a little bit. But of course, what are we to do?
Yeah, but this is funny.
What are we to do with 2 months off or however long it's going to be? Listen to Beach Boys is the Smile Sessions, Sabazius is the Descent of Man, Cosmic Psycho self-titled, Frenzel Rom's Not So Tough Now, Children Collide The Long Now, Clowns Bad Blood, and Betty Ray's self-titled. It is the ultimate in this game of chicken we constantly play.
You mentioned 53 tracks on that Frenzel Rom, by the way, Trix, that scared you. How many of that are secret tracks though?
I haven't looked.
From track 18, which is 20 seconds, it's not a secret track. And then track 19 is 7 seconds called secret track. And then 20 to 53 are all basically 4-second secret tracks.
Hell yeah.
It's a 30-minute album.
They're not even all available on Spotify, I don't think.
It looks like you got some searching to do.
Like, they're there, but they're like, let me see.
It's probably like you have to be in a specific region to listen to.
Yeah, but we could probably buy or something. We can make it happen.
Yeah. We got 2 months.
No, okay. I feel like it's Spotify, like on Spotify, it's fine, but on the preview, it was being weird. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us. That's the end of 2023, and I look forward to 2024. My name is Dominic. You can catch me online at DACICHOCKI on Twitter, Dominic Jacoki on YouTube. I'm on the Games My Mom Found podcast sometimes. We're going to do an episode of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep and Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge pretty soon.
I've been Ritalin. You can catch me on my website, ritalin4kids.github.io. I also have a YouTube channel that's in the description below.
I have been Trix. You can catch me spray painting tweets onto boxcars somewhere in Western New York. And you can catch all of us on Twitter at Dissonant Waves. Same with Blue Sky. It's Dissonant Waves. Whatever the fuck. It's the Blue Sky handles are weird.
You may catch us on other
we have
platforms.
merch. Yes, catch us elsewhere. Look out for the future.
Buy our merch, buy our clock, buy our shower curtain.
Yep.
And we'll see you next year.
Do we have a shower curtain?
It was an option.
We should have a shower curtain.
We should.
We need to be by naked people.
Yes.
It's an untapped market.
We need to entertain them in the shower and also be visible in the shower.
You need to think of us in the shower.
Yep.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.